you. Buenos dias, compadres. Muy descansado. A little hungover. I had a home girl that was supposed to join us, but she flaked. So she threw us our whole morning. We had to restart. That's the first time we had to ever do that. Man, I had a good opening too. So I don't. We're gonna introduce ourselves just real quick, just because just kind of let it flow out a little bit because usually we talk for about 20-30 minutes beforehand, but we got stuff to do today. So 20 to 40 podcasts, see what I'm saying? All jacked up today. 20 to 40 podcasts. I'm here with Stephen and Aubrey. Go ahead and introduce yourselves real quick and then I'll jump back in.
My man said he 30 now. He's not even 40. He's 20 and 30.
20 to 25. Like, bro, that's not the name.
What's up, y'all, man? Aubrey Pops, husband, also an investor, trader, physical therapist, and fitness and nutrition entrepreneur, man. Just love what we're doing, just sharing nuggets. And anybody that, is getting value from this, I wish there was something like this out when we were in our 20s, going to 30s and 40s, would have been a game changer.
Yo, what up? I'm Steven, family man, lawyer, uh, here with the homies, just trying to drop some nuggets.
And back to my stuttering ass. I'm Sirod, married, got a 4-year-old. See, he's 3. What the hell's going on? um, I do real estate. I made money in photography and real estate license, life insurance license. I was a police officer for 15 years, pretty much ran the department. And now I do HR. Again, I keep saying in the episodes, more money, less work. That's the goal. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started today. We're going to kind of revisit an issue that we had discussed previously. It's going to be role models. Like I said, in between nuggets, when I hear controversy, when I hear shots being thrown, I raise my antennas because that's what I want to talk about. I don't want to necessarily kumbaya every episode. So role models as it pertains to specifically Barack Hussein Obama. Hey, we're going to talk about this guy right now. So we don't usually get a heads up on what we're going to talk about, but I wanted to make sure if we were going to discuss the first black president as 3 black individuals with the podcast, I didn't want to completely throw shade with things that I heard. So I hope, everybody did a little bit of digging based on to just kind of support their thoughts. But what I really want to ask is, for me, when it comes to Obama, I always hear almost like this, like net positive, like he's done no wrong, he's done so great. And I just feel like in my lifetime I don't live that way. That's why I voted conservative this time. I like to be diverse. I like to think that I can hear both sides of the spectrum, regardless of race, color, religion, and all that stuff. So Obama's no different from me. And I talk to a lot of people who his policies and his decisions affected their lives. A lot of stuff that we say Trump lied about, a lot of stuff that we say Trump should have got congressional permission. Obama was doing the same stuff. As far as his immigration policies, what he did for the black community, there's a lot of flaws, but yet I feel like when you're talking about Obama to black people, it's almost like, nah, that man was untouchable. He's perfect. And, words that struck me that I just didn't love, like when Aubrey was talking about him, like hope and stuff like that. Like, I don't see it that way. So that's going to be the question today. Why is it that, when people, especially if people of color talk about Obama, there's almost like this perfect status that people don't ever talk about the negatives because we just want to be treated fair as black people, right? So how come that black president doesn't get talked about like other presidents and their flaws? So one of you guys want to start off that?
I'll start off with Barack. I am a Barack supporter. I've read all his books. I'm a big, I think for me, what Barack represents is to see a black man be able to be successful and sustain the success. Growing up, I looked up to people like, I remember Will Smith was one of my big inspirations, a family man, supposedly successful, good looking. He built his muscles up, like used to be a skinny dude, got bigger into iRobot and all this stuff. And I remember for me, I was just looking for somebody that could, because what I tended to see was that people would get successful and it would crumble. There would be scandals. There would be, things where they would just mess up. It's almost like the success couldn't be sustained or it couldn't be happy or couldn't be long term. There was always a bad turn. And for me, Obama represented somebody that, did the hard thing, becoming the president. He's a husband. He's a father of 2 daughters. And no scandals, no sexual things, no. And the thing is, he was young. I think he was 44 when he first started, in his mid 40s. Good looking guy, first black president, right? So I'm sure it wasn't going to be the hardest thing for something to happen. So that's for me what he represented. And later I come to find out, Will Smith and Jada's, relationship, I don't even think it was real, right? Jada had an affair with like a 20-year-old. Who knows what Will was doing, right? It was like, damn, I thought this gave me hope that I could do something similar, but it ended up being fake. And to me, Barack was real. Now, this is one thing I think people don't understand what Barack is like. Did he still have to play the game? Like, you got to understand, my boy wasn't going to go in there and be like, yo, what's up? Black Panthers are the new national party.
Here we
And
go with the
NWA is the
excuses
new national
already.
anthem. It's like, you got to play the game. And it does take time for things to shift. And if you try to shift it too fast, you're going to end up getting too much recourse. So for him to do that and then also add in the Affordable Care Act, which I work in medical field, and it helps a lot of people get medical coverage at a more affordable price. And that's what the government shutdown is about right now. They're not trying to renew it, which I just read an article about. The average 60-year-old that doesn't qualify will end up paying close to $10,000 or more in insurance premiums a year. So Barack helped bring a lot of that affordability into the healthcare system, which all revolves around insurance. You're not getting anything without insurance. So that for me is why Barack really stands out. As for me, I said hope because hope as an inspiration. How many Black men, right, have been successful, had no scandals, still married to the same woman? I don't know any.
That's insane. That's insane. He might be one of the most famous ones, but that's an insane statement. Like, you know what? That can that be? Because I want this off my back. Can that be worse than the I don't want to go to a black doctor or dentist? Because that's insane. At least, damn, I was Jesus.
No, I think you took it with I don't want to go to a black dentist. But
All right.
You just said that basically Will Smith and Obama are the only two black successful non-scandalous people you knew up until like 5 minutes ago. Like what? Shout
I'm
out to
talking
every
about
black
there
man
wasn't a
in
lot of high
America with a
profile that I
business.
saw that were successful and committed and consistent.
You know,
On Google.
the problem. Okay, so I think there's two parts to this, right? There's one part of Obama being the first black president, right? And that is an achievement in and of itself from a black person in the United States of America being able to reach the highest thing. And I think we can celebrate that, right? And we can understand what that means and hope that it may have given people to want to aspire to be the president of the United States, that part can't be taken away from them. But I also liken it to like Jackie Robinson, right? Where Jackie Robinson was the first black baseball player. Jackie Robinson wasn't the best black baseball player we've ever had play the sport, right? Some would argue that Satchel Paige in the Negro Leagues was a far superior athlete than Jackie Robinson. And he pitched, right? So, but Jackie Robinson was also, I think, as much as the United States was ready to handle with having a black person in the major leagues. Because by all accounts, Satchel Paige wouldn't had anyone called him nigger out there. He would have cleared the benches from at least from what everyone I've heard, all the stories that I've heard about Satchel Paige while he was even on the roads in the Negro League. Jackie Robinson wouldn't. And that's one of the things that Jackie Robinson even himself has said that maybe, people probably just thought he was like the good black guy, right? And that, all the anger and stuff he had over dealing with it and whether or not he would even have done it again. And I think when it comes to Obama, we have to also look at, yeah, okay, as a person, is it cool to see someone singing and dancing on TV that looks like me? Yeah, that's cool. But at the same time, I'm also looking for someone to enact policy and enact legislation to actually help on the stuff that you ran on, right? The reason why everyone says hope and change, that's what he ran on, right? That's his campaign slogan was hope and change. And what did he really give us? Okay, we talk about the ACA. All it did was fund middlemen, insurance companies to make huge premiums off of people. And, at a time where, there's a lot of businesses that could then go and get a discounted rate if you were paying for your employees. But if you had to go on and go look at Cobra now, how is that affordable? It's not affordable. We do not have affordable healthcare in this country. And what Obama actually wanted to do was talking about a single payer system. And what we wind up getting out of it after Obama, who at the time had taken the most campaign contributions in the history of this country, took all this money and now somehow what he wanted to do as a single payer turned into okay, we'll have a public option with a specific insurance company. The reason why we're shut down right now is because you know what? They get paid still during this shutdown. They're not going to get paid after the government opens and they take it away. The reason they're shut down now is so and they know the subsidies for the ACA is going to go away, and they're trying to keep their money now. You know what I'm saying? And this is from Obama. We talk about deportations and all this stuff that Donald Trump is this and that, and I don't support Donald Trump, but this is just what the narrative is, right? Oh, Donald Trump, he's kicking out all these illegals, he's ripping people from his family, they're doing all this. No one's deported more people in this country than Obama. How come we don't talk about his deportation policy when he promised a pathway to citizenship for those people that were immigrants to try to get in here? What legislation did he enact to help people become citizens that went on that hope and change? He didn't. Also, guess who's dropped the most bombs on people in this out of all the presidents? Obama. So as much as we yell a war criminal for Donald Trump and Joe Biden, we saw what they were doing over there in Iraq. We saw the videos that leaked through WikiLeaks. Why do you think Obama went after Julian Assange? So we don't talk about him for his censorship and his First Amendment stuff and what comes out of that. So when it comes to Obama,
but let me ask you about that though, because the thing is, when you say all this stuff,
yeah.
Also remember, a lot of this stuff is continuation from the past. When you come up to the helm in the presidency, you can't just be like, he inherited the Iraq-Afghanistan war. That wasn't his war. So
he expanded it. And he expanded it to Syria and Libya and all these other countries.
But the thing is, once the war is on,
but this is the thing. But this is also, I think, at the heart of what the question is. Why can't we question that about him? Why can't we say these things about him?
Only saying one part.
Because we do it for everybody else.
But you got to bring in George Bush that started the war.
Okay? It's not starting the war. It's Obama was known for expanding drone strikes. So war with me, you, and Stephen walking up and maybe we're killing civilians in war is one thing. But when you're sending drone strikes with some kid on a joystick bombing cities and innocent women and children are getting killed, that's a different type of war that
it is. But how much that wasn't Obama's making? A lot of that was already in the works.
Stop. Those were his decisions. Nobody did more drone strikes to that point. Now that's great.
But that's because of technology. You can't really use that stat. You can't say that he did the most drone strikes weren't available before that. That's like saying
there's no accountability when you're sending drone strikes.
No, what I'm saying is that you can't just take that decision in like a vacuum. Like,
I'm not.
Initially, the idea of a drone strike was to save more American lives, so you don't have soldiers out there on the front line.
Okay,
now, did they see that there was more collateral damage? They probably did, but that wasn't the first thing. Was drone strikes coming in? The thought is machines doing it, less humans at risk on the U.S. side.
Of course, but he's not an idiot, and you mean to tell me there's no way for him to control, or even when you hear when I'm the president and I'm sitting there and they say, "Hey, Sirod, you sent some drone strikes last week, 5 minutes ago. There's some casualties, there's some innocent children and women being killed that have nothing to do with the war." So his answer was, "Well, keep it going." I mean, that's the pass we're giving him. Like, so he can't say stop. He can't say, well, let's take another approach. Well, why is that? Well, let's slow down on the drone strikes. No, he was just like, keep sending them, baby. That should be a critique on his leadership. And that's definitely not somebody that I look up to, because I would like to think in a casualty war, you would try to keep the minimum civilian casualties. But again, at least if you're doing it with actual soldiers, that's something that can be a little bit more controlled. To send machines.
You got to understand is, I don't know the numbers. I don't know the numbers of exact casualties to civilians versus people they were trying to get. You got to remember also, a lot of the people that we were trying to get were going into civilian places to get cover.
You're saying that like that makes it okay. That's still something that should not be.
It okay, but you got to understand, in war that things change. In war, when you have a soldier going in, you've got increased danger to your side with IEDs. How many people were coming home with blown off legs and arms for soldiers trying to go into the place just to see who was there that were getting blown up on the way in?
That's a weird
IEDs were
way to
one of
look
the
at
most
it.
dangerous things as a part of the war.
That's
That's
a
where
weird
people are
way to
getting
look
hurt the
at it.
most.
You're explaining it as if we don't understand
No,
what
what
the
I'm trying to
goal was.
explain is war is never clean. It's never clean. There's not going to be a snipe
It's
the
even
bad guy in the
dirtier when
back.
you're sending drones, though,
But
and when
but
you
but
send.
but this is the thing though too, right? Like, why can't he be a peace president? Why are we
He didn't
acting?
inherit the peace. You can't just come
Okay,
into a war. So
okay.
the thing is, what happens with war, when you let it fester, it comes back later bigger.
Oh, but this is my thing. This is my thing. He campaigned on getting us out of the wars. He campaigned on getting us out of the wars, and he
So
wind up
sometimes you
dropping
got to finish the war first.
26,172 bombs. That's how many bombs he dropped. Okay, that's a statistic number of the bombs he dropped.
How many
And when
bombs did
you are
George?
trying to
How many
tell
bombs did
me, and
George
I
Bush
don't
drop?
care about what's going on, what's doing this, because at any time you could always choose peace. You don't have to
The
drop
thing
bombs
is,
on
you
people.
can't always choose peace halfway through a war you inherited.
Yeah, but that's so what you're saying is you're okay with his legacy in war. No, listen, you're okay with his legacy in war because he inherited it from somebody else and he did the best he could. Now, if that's the argument, then fine, that's
Yeah,
the
that's kind of
argument.
what I'm saying. I'm like, if
But
that's
what
how
I'm
you feel,
saying is
cool. But a
that's
lot of
not a
people
good
think that was
argument for
not
me.
good. A lot of
That's
people
not a
think
good
that there were
argument.
other options.
Right. That's not
Okay,
a good argument
what were
for
the
it.
other options?
I just gave put it this way. All right, let's take a while. Let's take off war off the table. He said in '08 he was going to close Guantanamo Bay. He's not. It's still open to this day. So how can you not close down a black site that everyone knows that you're taking terrorists to and torturing them there?
And this is why I also feel like when you were talking Aubrey about how he had to play the game, how you're rolling your eyes at everything I say, and you need to be respectful. No, I'm joking. But that's how I felt because I'm like, dog, like so. This is what people do. You're giving excuses for the war, but you're not giving excuses. Let me finish this one up. But you're not giving excuses for having to change the game. Once you win, all hands are off the table. And that's why I said, yes, I like that Trump is showing you presidents can literally just change your mind. You do it anyways. And now he's doing what he wants to do, what he thinks his supporters wants to do. Obama could have did way more, but he was playing the game, but he didn't play the game when it came to war. He had to finish that, right? But he didn't finish anything that I thought was going to be sustainable, like the Affordable Care Act. He caved in and he caved into to the black community. He caved into the middle class for a lot of different things. What would that be? I don't know, maybe net worth, but I just feel like people gloss over it. But when we're talking about war, you're giving them a pass.
So what I'm doing is I'm understanding that your choices are often limited and kind of like confined by the situation you're in. Like the thing is, what you're doing is you're just saying, well, why didn't he stop the war? If you're halfway through a war, you usually can't just stop because all that does is leave half the people to come back stronger. With look at what happened with Germany after World War One. World War II happened because people were left, they got mad, they built up bigger, they came back stronger. Sometimes you have to finish. Okay. Now,
So you don't think killing people's women and children
what I'm
expanded the
saying
thoughts
is
in that?
that so there's never been a clean war. Never. And there never will be a clean war. I'm not giving a pass to that. I'm not. But where I'm thinking that in my eyes, if you really need to look at that, we need to go to who started the war because that's what starts everything.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's go to
Wait. So
1975. Then
we're about
when
to talk about
Let's go to weapons of mass destruction are in the area. We're
which
going
was a
in,
lie,
guns blazing.
which was a lie, right?
We know it was a lie. Yes, it was used to
Right,
get us into war.
right.
So
So
how many bombs did George Bush drop? I saw you drop a number.
less,
Less?
less.
Wait, you knew
Yes.
the number for Obama. What's the number for George Bush?
I don't know. I don't know the number for
I
Obama. I
only
know Obama
look
did the
okay.
most.
Stephen
I'm
said it
gonna
was the most.
full disclosure. I only look for the most, right? The number
Yeah,
one.
I just know he did the
That that
most.
And
that's all I look
what
for.
if Bush
So
was 50 under him?
if you're asking me for a list of what it is, I don't know. But all I looked for was who was the most. And those are the area that Obama was the most in.
Right. Wait.
Bombs, immigration. That's but this is but I think this is the problem, right? Now we have to
What
then
you write
confront.
down?
Then we got it. Now we got to.
I'm asking ChatGPT. How many bombs did George Bush drop during his presidency? Let's see. 70 to 100,000 bombs and missiles. Straight from ChatGPT right here.
Okay.
That sounds a lot more than 6,000. Iraq, 29,000. Estimates rise to 50 and 75,000 bombs and missiles. And one thing you got to remember is that how long in George Bush's presidency were we at war versus I think it was all 8 of Obama's that we were at war.
And in this one, it says in his second term, U.S.-led bombing totaled for Obama's presidency over 100,000 bombs and missiles striking 7 countries, surpassing the 70,000 under George Bush.
But
So
you're comparing 8 years to Bush was like 5.
no, what you're comparing is even more hilarious. That's hypocritical to me. Bush spent 8 years being called an idiot, a dumbass, he don't know nothing, monkey see, monkey do, and all that shit. Now all of a sudden we're comparing this hopeful, great black president to the decisions that George Bush made. And now you're trying to make that contrast to make it seem like one was better than the other. So he did 7 and he did 100, but well, he did 7, but he's supposed to be the idiot. He's
But
supposed to
the
be the
thing is,
dumbass.
that's the person that started the war, number one. Number two, it
So
also.
you had to surpass as many bombs as the dumbass. You couldn't
But
figure out
the thing
anything
is,
else.
it comes with the job of war at the helm.
But he
So
also
he couldn't come up with no better plan than the dumbass. The dumbass was like, bomb him, war, war, war. Obama came and was like, oh, I guess I got to finish this. I mean, that's what you're telling me right now. He
What
But
else
couldn't
he
come up
are you
with
gonna
also,
do?
but that's also inaccurate too, because we're also saying that George Bush was in Iraq and Afghanistan, he inherited that, but Obama also expanded it into other Middle Eastern countries like Syria, Libya. What did we go to Libya for? To overthrow Gaddafi for? To overthrow and then now we overthrew, right? They overthrew that. Hillary Clinton was super happy about that, which Obama's the president, so allowed her to go and overthrow Gaddafi. And then what happens in Libya? You have a modern day slave trade again out of Libya. Libya was actually trading slaves under the Obama presidency. So don't give me this that because he's some type of black president, therefore he's looking out for black people. Black capitalists are black capitalists. There's no difference between a capitalist and a black capitalist. They're all going to exploit you for money. Now, how much money has Obama made now? Like he's a millionaire. He'll never have to work another day in his life. But
And
what I'm
how many
saying is,
that
we go after Nancy Pelosi and all these people for what they do and how much money they make off of their congressional seat. How can we not talk about how much money Obama's made since he's been president?
what did he? But the thing is, you're not talking about what he made money off of. This wasn't off of secret deals. It was off of his books.
Yeah, you don't think they're inflating the price for
look.
the president?
This is why Trump is hilarious to me. He's showing you exactly what all of them are doing, except he's Mr. I could shoot you on Fifth Avenue and not get in trouble. So he don't care. Argentina, the White House bill, the Bitcoin, or not the Bitcoin, but
The
the
meme
crypto.
coin.
He's showing you how all of them make their money. He's crashing the market, probably shorting it, and then buying it on the way up. He's showing you exactly how they all made money.
But
If you
don't
don't
you
think
think that's
Obama,
different than selling a book?
you think he's worth that much money because of a book?
That's a big part of his net worth.
Yeah, but do you know how the
That
book
is
game
not.
works though?
That's not how they make their
Do you
money.
want to talk about how the book game works? You think people, and I'm not saying people don't buy Obama's
Of
book,
course they buy.
but
I bought it. You need to
they,
buy it. You need to listen to it.
but they buy all these books up, right? Like in their contract, they buy them up, and then you have to buy them back if you don't sell it. Like, come on, man! Like that's just like record labels, right? Like they send out the records, right? And the
But it's
business
still a
will buy
business.
a
That's
bunch
how
of
he made most of his money.
and then whatever doesn't sell, you got to buy back, and that's how they go broke. Like, come
But
on.
he made a
But
lot of money because his
just
did
because
sell.
you're a
His
New
was some
York
of the top
best-selling
selling books
author
in the
does
history.
not mean you're a New York best-selling author. That game has already been shown to be fake.
But his numbers were up there. His first day numbers, I think, are top 3 in book sales ever.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they're not, but what I'm saying is it's not just people buying them. It's just like the bots online. There's more bots online now than
But
actual
what
people.
that has nothing to do with his book sales, but bots online. Everything could be in a conspiracy if you look at it at a certain
It's
angle.
not a conspiracy.
It's
It's
not.
the
He's a
way it
best-selling
works.
author. That's where he made most of his money.
It's literally just saying that the way Trump acts, the way Pelosi acts, the way Schumer acts, the way all these politicians, Obama was no different. Yet when you bring it up, you got your hat all turned back. He's like, he's a good man. He loved
The
his
thing is,
wife.
you guys are
Don't worry
talking
about
about
the dead
Trump doing
bodies.
meme
Don't worry
coins.
about the women and children. Don't worry about the cages. Don't worry
I
about
didn't say
Guantanamo
don't
Bay.
worry
Don't
about
worry
the women
about the
and
war.
children.
Don't worry.
I'm
You got an
I'm
excuse
sorry
for
that
everything.
happened.
Bush killed more. His book money. What? Dude, he has flaws. It's okay, black people. You
I'm
can
not
say he
saying
has
Barack
flaws.
doesn't have
He's
flaws.
not
That's
the
not what
best
I'm saying.
example of a black successful man to me, or he shouldn't be to a lot of people. That's great. As far as like Stephen broke it down in the beginning beautifully. As the first black president, that should be your only achievement. Everything else you did, brother, you fell short on a lot of stuff.
He
You fell
did
short on
fall
a lot
short.
of stuff. The middle class black community, HBCUs, education, immigration, healthcare. You tried. I'm not mad at you for trying, but dog, it's not working. And the reason the healthcare system is the way it is right now is because of post-COVID decisions.
So
You keep saying the
let me
wrong
ask you
thing.
this. Let me
Well, no,
ask you
hold on.
this
The
then.
government shutdown is about post-COVID policies, not Affordable Care Act. It has nothing to do with Obamacare that passed in 2012 or whatever that was. This is about post. That's why Republicans are so mad because they're like, this was supposed to be after COVID decisions, a policy we made, and they could. And he said they were in power. They could have had it for longer, but they had it cut off. November 1st or just December 31st. Now they want to expand it, and they're like, no. So that's not even an Obama decision that you're trying to say. Like that just means Affordable Care Act wasn't as good as even what it was for post COVID. If the prices are going up that high already.
The thing is, they're going to go up high, but they won't go up as high. And let me ask you this, because y'all got so much to say about this and this and that. Who was a better president than Barack in the last 5 presidents?
Oh shit. Well, okay, Barack. I mean, what do you want
Who?
us to say? They served 8 years. That's a 40-year span you just named, nigga. Like what the
Who
fuck?
else? I'm talking about somebody you know. Don't give me freaking Abe Lincoln. Who you know that's better than Barack in the White House?
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Because the thing
That's a
is, you're
very
talking
limited
about the
spectrum.
presidency, which already has a lot. Like presidents can only do so much. Let's be real. Donald's getting away with way more because of a couple things. Number one, he's white. Okay, how much could have Obama got away with before getting shot? And then number two was he's also in his second term. He's not caring about reelection. He
You're
moved
right. Obama
different in
didn't
his
do a
first
second
term.
term. Obama didn't do a second term.
Obama didn't do a second term?
I don't know. You're saying he's in his second term, so there's nothing to worry about. Obama did. I guess he didn't have one either. He had
No,
to play
the
a
thing
game
is
all
your
the way out the
policies can
door.
be more radical and more on the lateral when you're on your second term and not worried about reelection. That's why Trump, because you keep bringing up Trump. Trump gonna show you who he is, and Trump gonna do this. Well, yeah,
Right.
he's in
What
his last
radical
term.
decisions do you remember Obama making in his second term that benefited anybody except his pocketbooks?
Being Obama.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the 20 to 30
No, so, all right.
podcast.
So, but this is the thing, right? This is also the thing. And I want to be clear for everyone that's listening for myself. I don't think any of these presidents have represented the people of the United States and what they're supposed to do. So if you ask me about who's the best president, I can't give you one because all of them have done the same exact thing as the predecessor. And that is the problem with our politics of the last 40 years, is it's just a constant, you know what? People are poorer than they've ever been now. Cost of living is as high as it's ever been now. We're probably the most unsafe we've probably ever been since the Cold War, right? When we're talking about nukes. So all this stuff is based off of our presidents before Barack and after Barack, all doing the same thing, dropping bombs on innocent people. And we've been yelling law and order for 20 years that I remember, right? Like everyone's always talking about law and order, law and order. Crime rate's actually down, but when we talk about law, we don't follow international law. We don't care about all the stuff that's going on that, the criminal court, and now we're saying that the UN doesn't matter when the UN was founded and for a reason, exactly why we're at here today.
Yeah, that's what your boy Trump is doing, man.
Biden was doing it too. The
Hey,
genocide
I'm not
happened
down with
under
Biden
Biden.
either. I'm not down with Biden.
But what I'm saying is people, Barack Obama is just as much as a war criminal as anybody
So
else
let
before
me
him
ask you
and
this.
after
Why
him.
aren't y'all answering my question that who was better than Barack?
I'm
Pick
telling you,
somebody
I don't
like
think
Steven
any of
said.
them were great.
Does it really matter? I actually I did answer your question. That means you're not listening. I said Obama, right? I'm not saying that he wouldn't be. If you had to make me pick the president that I want to lead me for the next 8 years out of the last five, I'm gonna pick Obama. But that's not the
Exactly.
debate. That's not the debate. The debate is what bothers me about politics is you sound just like these MAGA supporters who you haven't said one bad thing about Obama, and every bad thing we've said, you've been like, but. That's exactly the problem with our politics. Because if this was a reverse, and I said, yeah, Trump do it, everything that we just said, which he is doing, you would jump on board and be like, yo, and that's crazy, that's dirty. You wouldn't give him a pass and say, well, Trump got casinos. Well, Trump got this. Well, that's how he got money. No, you just jump on it. That's the problem with our politics. Obama has just as much dirt as the rest of these five and Bill and Biden and all them, but nobody wants to
See,
talk
but
about it. When
that's
Biden was
that's where
walking
I'm
around
what I'm
doing this,
saying.
everybody's like, "Oh, he's not old, he's not dementia." And then when he left, everybody's like, "Oh yeah." Why can't we just be honest about the person in charge and
I'm
stop
not
playing this
down with
game?
Biden. Let's get that straight. I'm not down with Biden. Their whole fake bromance was fake, and that's how I knew it was fake. Number one. Number two, what I'm saying is that Obama is not perfect, but in the position he was in my perspective, he did the best. That was number one. Number
Yeah.
two, as a black man in that level of authority, notoriety, success, he did the best that I've seen.
If you say that one more time, I'm gonna throw my phone. He did the best. What is this kindergarten? Dog, you're giving him way too much. That is a very smart individual. He could have did way more. He could have did way, but he knew he could
So
do the bare
you don't
minimum.
think
And people
Obama did
like you for
enough?
decades will say, "What?"
My man Obama put in years. You saw the gray hairs go from nothing to all his head, and you don't think Obama did enough?
No.
If you think he did enough, that's cool, man. Your standard is very low, and that's my point. For a black president, black people, we just lower the standard. We want to be
No,
created
that's
equal. We
not
want to
what
be
I'm
held to the same
saying.
standard.
What
And you're
I'm
like, he did
saying,
his best
what
because
I'm
he's a
saying
black
is that
man. Stop it.
see what I'm saying is I used to say the same thing about Michael Jordan. Yeah, why doesn't Michael Jordan do this? But I had to understand that Michael Jordan's contribution was big in the way of his contribution. He made young, black, white, every race look up and be inspired by a black man's work ethic, consistency, and
Stop it, bro.
achievements.
Yeah,
No,
and then
bro.
all right, so we're gonna talk about all right, so then what? I can't bring up the fact that Michael Jordan was
He had
also
sex
a womanizer.
scandals,
He
yes.
was also illegally gambling
Yes, he
everywhere,
was doing
and
that.
all these like all the
Invested
things
in
that
prisons.
also
You're right.
come
Yes,
with Michael
Hope.
Jordan.
yes. So he was doing that. And that's why I said Obama was the best out of all of them. Because of Mike
But
Jordan didn't
but
stay
that,
married to his wife,
but
sex
but but
scandal.
but what but okay, so that so you're holding him to a perfection standard.
No, I'm not.
Nobody
I'm
is
holding him
perfect.
to I
No
wanted
one's
to see
perfect.
somebody be able to do it and stay whole.
Yeah, but how, what do you mean stay whole though?
Not on his second and third wife, not with a broken up family, not
What
having the success be at the cost of his personal life.
You don't think that's a very low standard to have? Just stay with your girl and love your kids? Like, Jesus Christ, man. You literally control the world. And the most he did at everything that I could find in research basically said he was a middle of the pack president on his decisions. He didn't go over the mountain for anything. And the best you could say was, well, that's what he had to do. And at least he stayed with his
and
wife.
this is one of my biggest critiques of Obama, right? Every president that has ever been a president of the United States has always had to deal with the black issue, right? Black people. What are we going to do with black people? Whether they wanted to keep them in slavery, whether they wanted to free them, whether they thought there should be reparations, whether Jim Crow was legal or not, whether or not separate but equal was right, whether mass incarceration is the new policy, all these things, every president has had to
That's
do something about the black issue in the United States of America, except for one. And that's the only black president we had was literally the one person that didn't have to deal with the black issue. Like he said he would, though. Like he campaigned on the fact that he wanted to do it. And I'm not saying that you just make policy specifically for black people. But what I'm saying is you have constituencies all throughout the different things in this country, right? Whether you care about banking, there's lobbyists for everything. Everybody can have a say. Asian Americans, Latino Americans, everybody has their own lobby that does their group, right? And what did the black people get? HBCU funding, which I believe in HBCUs, and I think it's great that we have our Black-owned colleges and that we do that. But there's a lot of Black people that don't go to HBCUs, right? There's Black people that, if you're in the Midwest, you got to get there. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. But why do we not have to have him hold us up and say, hey, what can you do for us? What can you do for the Black community? Other than just saying, hey, you kept your family together under the pressure of the
So
bright light,
let me
all
ask you
that.
this.
Like, why couldn't he give something? Why couldn't he just look into like policing or just do different things? He could have passed the Voter Rights Act that everybody was talking about. There's tons of things he could have done, but he
He passed a
didn't
bunch of
do.
stuff for LGBTQ and freaking don't ask, don't tell, and all kinds of other stuff. But yeah, it's like that wasn't controversial. So it's like you act like he didn't make decisions that people were going to hate him for. I mean, that's ACA in itself. So to me, to pass legitimate things for the Black community that were actually going to improve their lives, and that didn't happen, to me, that's a very huge failure that people just gloss over. Not just you, Aubrey, anybody I talk to that's Black about Obama. That's why I'm mad Tweedle D ain't here to speak her mind because she was ready to go on the same
But
stuff.
this,
But he did this. I'm like, all right, man. The facts
and
are the
we can call him a sellout for the simple fact that the campaign financing that we see that he raised the most, like over $1 billion he raised in his campaign fund, and what he was saying he was going to change and what he was going to do and the hope and the change he was going to bring fell short because of all the lobbyist money that was given to him, which made him compromise or just not work on stuff.
So
That's
the
just the
way,
fact
but the
of
thing is,
what
the way it works, you gotta
shows.
take what. That's just the way this system works, homie. Like you're not gonna get in without lobbyist money unless you happen to be a half a trillionaire. So you can get Elon Musk in if you want.
That's not true because Kamala Harris raised way more than Donald Trump did in those couple of 107 days, as the book says. She raised way more money and got zero more votes for it. Like she lost every swing state. So yes, you can raise a ton of money and not win.
But
Hillary
you
Clinton
can't.
did the same thing.
But you can't not raise money and win. That's what I'm saying. You can't
But
get in this game and not raise money and win. You're not going to.
you do need money to win.
So you're gonna have to
How
take
you
that money
raised it.
from lobbyists. Like you got to
You
play the
don't have
game.
to. You don't have to. You
Then
don't
you're
have
not
to.
going to get the money to run the ads to have the marketing support to even
That's
play
not
the
true.
game.
That's not true because
Who's
Bernie
done it
Sanders
without
never
money?
said that's wrong.
Who's done it without money?
Bernie Sanders showed us that public
Bernie Sanders
finance.
ain't never going to be in the presidency. Was never even close to the
First
presidency.
off,
that's
first
because his
off, I'm not
policies
talking.
though.
I'm not talking about presidency. You just asked me about campaign financing and that you have to have the most money and you have to take lobbyist money. And I'm saying that one, just because you raise the most money does not mean you're going to win.
I
And
didn't say
two, you
that.
don't have to take lobbyist money to because Bernie Sanders was taking 20 something dollars from people. He didn't take any PAC money, didn't take any lobbyist money, and he outraised Hillary Clinton. So both of those metrics that you just said are false,
No,
and that
see
there are alternatives.
you
People
doing what
just
Bush
don't do them.
and
People just don't
what
do them.
Trump do. You twisting words. I never said that. I said presidency. I'm talking about the biggest office in the land. And what I said was you can't win without the money. You can campaign, you can get in the game or in the race,
So
but
then
you're
why
not
is he
going to
your
get in.
favorite? I mean, because everything we're saying is basically saying I'm not saying he's good or bad. We're saying he's just like the rest of them. Let's talk about it that way. So then why are you saying he's the best? I mean, what fucking Hope and his wife? I really haven't heard you say anything else about why he's your number one. Like
So
like
I
if you were
told
just
you,
a number one, if he did everything, he
what
took
legis-
money, he followed the lobbyist orders, he stayed middle of the pack, he didn't do anything too crazy, too low, too high.
this is
So what
why
makes
I
him so
told
great?
you. Just because like Michael is one of the best. Just because like for example, I'm a big Kobe fan. Am I a fan of Kobe having sex with old girl in the hotel? No, I'm not. What I'm a fan of is I'm a fan of the
I was like, what? All right.
the,
What is with you in this one blemish? Like people cannot live. Am I a fan that he didn't let that old lady get in line at McDonald's? I'm not, and so he's off my list. Like, what is your standard, bro? Like, what does this have to do with anything?
what
We've
I'm
been
trying
talking
to
about
say
killing
is
babies and deportation. You keep bringing up his wife.
what I'm trying to say is he gave. So I had. Let me share a story with you, and this is the first time I ever seen this. I had a patient. She was probably 80s or 90s. She was Mormon, Caucasian lady. So was her husband, Caucasian. in their home, in their living room. Guess what there was a picture of? Next to their Mormon churches, next to pictures of their Mormon leaders
Obama?
and his wife.
Obi?
Obama and Michelle dancing at
Okay.
their inauguration. And
Okay.
I say that because that's what Obama did. Just like Michael did certain things for the black race because of people seeing a black man at that level.
Hey, actually, I was gonna say don't be offended when I say this, but actually get very offended. You sound like a goddamn MAGA supporter, bro. You sound like a literally. You can walk in their house. They got the book. They got the watch. They got the Jesus
We
next to
needed
the.
that. We needed that for black people. We didn't have that. All we
I didn't
had,
need it. I did not need it.
you
I do
do need
not
it. That's
need
the
it.
problem. You
I
need
knew
it.
successful black people before Obama, and I know just as many after, and I'm going to hold them to the same standard that I hold everybody to. I didn't need it. That's the
Okay.
problem. I don't need a
I
picture
was
of Obama in my living room
it,
to tell me you can do it, Sirod. Let's
You
get up in the
need it.
morning. Good
it,
morning, Obama. I'll
You
see you
need it. As a
later.
matter of fact,
Off
I'm
to
gonna
work,
send you an
it,
Obama.
Obama
Thank you for
poster
what you
right now.
did for
Let
8
me send you
years.
a, what's your address? Send me a thing. I'll send you an Obama poster.
all
Hey,
right,
no
and this is
addresses. No
why
addresses on the podcast.
and
I
this is
don't need
why
that.
in the beginning I made I
You
made the
did. You did.
I made the difference, right? Yes, I as Obama as a figure of being the first black president, yes, did that give me hope that I can then achieve certain things in life? Yes. It made me realize
You're
that as a
welcome.
black man, the sky is the limit, right? Like I can realize that. But again, when we talk about role models, we also have to realize these people are imperfect. There
Absolutely.
is no perfect people. And it's okay to point out imperfections in people and still carry them in a way that helps. Like, someone has always told me that as a black man, I am just standing on shoulders of giants that have come before me. And that's so true. And Obama is a giant in, black culture, the black community, and just American history. And we can acknowledge that. But we can also, in acknowledging that, also say, hey, here's some imperfections. So for the next person that gets there, this is what we can do better, right? Like that is always what I take Black history, Black culture to be, that it's always evolving, it's always expanding, and you can never think that you are at the top or at the pinnacle because life always changes and it grows and it just expands. So I can, but to say that, hey, stop critiquing them because of this or that or that, I critique everybody. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, or whatever. I'm gonna critique you, but I can also take with me certain things that people do great. I think one great thing that Obama does, he's a great communicator and orator. There has never been a person that has spoken on TV with such clarity and detail, but in such nuance that every person in this country could understand what he is saying, even if it might be big words that people have never heard. He had a way of talking to people to make it just seem like you knew him on a personal level. And I think that is a great way to communicate, but then connect with people, which what we do here. And I say that because I don't want anyone in the comments thinking that Stephen just hates Obama. And that's not the thing. I just wish he was better. But I can take him for what he was and what he did bring. And I don't think those two things can mutually be true at the same time.
But what I'm saying is, out of his post, what's required for president, in my mind, he's the best I've ever experienced. And some of it is policy. I do think the ACA helped a lot of people, but a lot of it is influencing the culture. So, for example, like I just looked it up, Frederick Douglass, great American, African American, helped us with the abolition, escaped slavery. He married a white woman. Dr. Martin Luther King was proposed to have white women before he got married with Coretta. Now, I'm not saying these things are not bad. They are. But but they are bad. But their bigger overall contribution to the culture and the movements that they were a part of were impactful. Were
Wait, wait,
huge.
wait, wait.
Obama made you go out and get a black girl. Is that
So,
what you
so you're
saying?
saying because Frederick
You were
Douglass,
like, dang, I want that.
like,
What?
so
But
you're
no,
saying
what I'm
because,
saying is that he gave me, so let's be real. Before a lot of the sports figures and before like Obama and all that, what was a black man portrayed as? Thug, hoodlum, woman's man, womanizer, not a father, not a provider, not a consistent person in the household. That's all we were portrayed as. Only person you saw in those roles saving people, and who was it? Bruce Willis, what? Mel Gibson. It was always a white male saving people, being the husband, being the provider, being the protector. Then you started seeing the browning of the culture as athletes came in, singer artists came in first, right? Michael Jackson probably fumbled the ball. I was thinking about the other day, man. How did Mike go from black to like what he was like? He was a good-looking black guy, bleached his whole skin, right?
Well, what are we on right now?
Because I'm trying to
What are
show
we
you.
on right now? My nigga,
So
I'm
Martin
gonna
Luther
say,
King had white babes. Follow me.
yo,
Kobe,
my
he
man
didn't
said
need the
Frederick,
towels, but he wanted old girl to stop by the room. What are you
yo,
talking about?
are you saying the reason you really mess with Obama is because you saw black love for the first time on
No,
a grand scale? Please tell me that is
what
not
I'm
the
saying, it's not about even that, that it
my
was
nigga.
black
Why do
love.
you
That's not
bring
what
You
up
it's
keep
who
about.
bringing
had
it
a
up.
white wife and who
Even if
had
he had
white
a even
girls
if he had a
around
white
him?
wife, that would have been fine. That's not
He
what I'm
got a
talking
white
about.
mom. Is that okay?
What I'm talking about is that he was committed
To
to
what?
being a father and a male.
I think Frederick Douglass was too,
I think he was too.
regardless
I'm
if he
not
had a
taking that
white
away from
wife or
Frederick.
not.
I'm not taking that away from Frederick.
Will Smith put his kid in a movie. Is that what we're doing right now? Like, LeBron James put his son on the Lakers.
That's what I'm saying. Shout out to Braun doing it still with his wife. It doesn't matter what color the wife is. But
I don't
I'm
know,
Apparently
saying,
man.
it
It felt
does.
that way. It
no, no,
felt
no.
Apparently
that
it
It's not
does.
way.
no,
It
it's
Dude
not
felt
got to
about
that
the
way.
color
68 and
of the
start
wife.
talking about white
But
side
no, I
pieces.
brought
Like,
Frederick Douglass up and Martin Luther King because they were a big part of the black movement at the time. Slavery, right? Jim Crow. That's why I
White.
brought that up.
but what does them being with white girls have to do with that?
Because that was against what they were saying at the time.
What?
I don't think they were saying don't marry white women at the
They were
time.
saying it's all about blacks being free and blacks being, basically free. But how are you going to be a black slave coming from being free and then be with a white woman? Now, he was married to a black woman for 44 years. Dope. And
What?
then she passed
This
away.
topic, this topic got really
Yo,
weird. I have no idea what.
The comments on this is gonna be
Yeah,
wild,
I have
bro.
no idea what we're talking about. Even when I'm asking questions, I'm like, why are you even asking that? I'm just so lost. I'm like, wait,
what
what?
I'm saying is that
Because they said black pride, but they was like white bedroom. Like, I don't, what are we, what does this have to do with? I don't even get how those like, okay, like, so you can't say both? I don't,
well, what I'm saying
you're
is
saying it
that
loses
Wait, wait,
meaning?
wait. So
Like,
you're saying because I'm pro-black, but I have a white wife, I
I'm talking
therefore
about at
not
those
representing the
times. It's different
culture.
now.
I
It's
got
changed
I
up
gotta
a lot
go. I
now.
gotta go get a divorce to get a black wife, and then I can hold it down.
What I'm saying, okay. So with the Frederick Douglass example, y'all didn't hear all the other stuff I said. So the girl was 20 years younger than him and white, okay? And then I said Martin Luther King, it's proposed that there were white hookers,
okay.
okay? So that's what I'm talking about.
But they were on the street saying black pride, black love, but
Blacks
then,
together, black freedom, black unity.
yeah. That I still don't see the correlation. Like, dog, who you hook up with doesn't mean you can't be on the streets. But
Hey,
even
if you gonna be down, you gotta be either all in or all out, bro.
yeah, I'm like, so I don't see how those are.
I'm not
Again,
for
maybe
what
it is because we were born in the 80s and 90s and that just doesn't hit the same. But I doubt people back then gave a shit either. Like
No,
they like
they were very upset. They were upset about it was a
no,
controversial
time
issue.
out. People are upset right now about it. So there's always gonna be people upset. I'm saying the fact that we're talking about their names in 2025 means it must not have been that big of a deal that they had white bitches. Like I don't think anybody cared enough to erase them from the books. And so that's why it's funny that you're holding Obama to that standard because I don't think anybody in 50 years is gonna be like Obama in the 2000s. He was a great president because man, that black wife of his, that them kids, he
I'm
he
not
kept his
saying
family
because of
together.
black wife. I'm
They're going
saying
to
because
talk
of
about
life
his
in general.
policies. They're going to talk about deportation. They're going to talk about what he did for the black community, especially as we get further and further apart. And black people are kind of slowly either not going up or not going down, but I would say down, in my opinion. No stats. They're gonna talk about that. No one gives a shit about Michelle. Nobody gives a damn about his daughters. Nobody gives a fuck that he didn't cheat
So,
on
so
them.
let,
Nobody cares.
let me ask you this. You don't think Michael Jordan, right? Kobe Bryant, right? Jackie Robinson, you brought him up, Barack Obama, Jay-Z, you don't think their net impact on the culture for black people was positive? None of them
Wait,
are perfect. I would say
nobody's
LeBron's the only
nobody's
one that hasn't
debating
had a
that
big
though.
scandal.
We're saying that the fact that we even have a debate about Obama's flaws is exactly the problem with the discussion about Obama. That was my original question. And I literally go to the beginning. It was like, why do conversations about Obama with black people always start here and stay there? And it's like if you try to talk about something that kind of puts a blemish on them, you bring it right back here. That's all we're saying. If you want to talk about Kobe Bryant and then bring up some of the bad decisions he made, or LeBron James, or things that they're, whether his school, I heard LeBron James' school, it doesn't actually have a great success rate. Like it's a good school, he's giving lunch, he's giving backpacks and all that, but the kids aren't actually getting a great education. We can talk about that. We don't have to be like, yeah, but he's got a school and he's paying for their, but we can still talk about how the education
But
is
the thing
lacking.
is, we can talk about it, but you also got to realize that that's one of the things that I think is my perspective on it. How much work did LeBron have to do to get to a place to be able to even provide the school opportunity? That's the same thing I'm saying for Obama. How much work did he have to do on himself in his career in his life to even get to a place to be able to be actually have a chance at the first black presidency, and that, let alone that, and then win it, and then let alone that re-election? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Is Barack perfect?
And,
No, because nobody's perfect.
and
but
let's hit
two
up the
things can be
closing thoughts.
true.
I lost track of time because I didn't have anything on. Let's hit up the closing thoughts right now.
All right, and this is my thing. Two things can be true at the same time, right? We can all respect this whole podcast is about grinding and hustling and doing what we got to do to try to do the keys. No one's taking away what he worked for. No one's saying that he shouldn't have been president. No one didn't say he didn't win or anything. All we're saying is we can critique people. We can critique that you didn't do enough at the time or that you fell short of what your own goals and achievements were. Like, that's not to discredit any of the hard work or anything and the success that he did. But the fact that we can't even have a conversation about some of the negative impacts that he actually had, not only on the black community or the United States, but on the foreign policy and stuff, it's just it just discredits then everything that he like. We should be able to debate these things and talk about these things to see where we want to go, future for the culture, future for America's society, future of foreign policy. That the only way we can look at things, maybe it's a historian in me, is always looking back in the past to see how it went. Sometimes you're too close to it to make it be history because of this, right? Like you can't actually have a real conversation about it because people's emotions and what their feelings and opinions of the man are, instead of just looking at factual base, this is what his presidency did, right? Which doesn't take away the fact that he is a black presidency, right? Like that is what it's going to be because we look at him as the first black president. So that is okay to take the good with the bad, to see what he's done. But we have to have an honest critique on it. So in going forward, when we get the next black president there, we can hit the ground running. Because I don't think if this was Donald Trump's first go around, he wouldn't be as impactful as he is, negatively or positively, however you feel about him. But when you get that second bite at the apple, each president has always taken more reign, done more things, pushed the envelope more because of the fact that they don't have to worry about being reelected. But we're not allowed to talk about that with anybody. We talk about it with everybody except for one. And I'm just waiting for the fact for us to be able to have that so we're ready and prepared for the next person that goes in there to help also push the culture, this country, and foreign policy forward.
Did you have a closing thought?
Yeah, number one, if you're not gonna run for office and get into public service, I don't want you talking about my homie Barack because you don't know what it's like to be in the arena, putting in work. All right. Nah, I think for me, I'm not saying that Barack doesn't have flaws and drawbacks like every person does. What I'm saying, in my perspective, as a black male, he gave me somebody to be inspired by in a way that I hadn't really seen people of that level inspire me personally on some of my personal goals that I wanted, like being with one wife, for the long run. Frederick Douglass, I give it to him. His first wife passed away, so I get it. And, he was probably around a lot of abolitionists. That's how he fell in love with the second wife. I was just bringing up as an example. I'm really inspired by Frederick Douglass as well, as I am Dr. Martin Luther King. And I think Obama gave me somebody that was current, that was at a level that could show me that it is possible to still stay grounded in certain things that I'm really inspired by: family, father, husband. So that's what I say about Obama. And I think the last thing I would say is that, could he have done more? Probably. But did he do a whole lot? Absolutely. And he did most than probably 99.9% of people, whether they're black or white. And that's in my perspective. So.
All right, Obama, if you see this, if you want to come on the show, just let us know your schedule. Everybody, like, subscribe, follow us on social media. We also are only going to do an episode every other week, mostly because of me, right? Just I be tired. I don't know if y'all need time, but we doing a lot of episodes, so we're just gonna kind of space it out a little bit more. But thanks for tuning in. We love you, Obama. We got your back, homie. But you gotta fix some shit. You know what I'm saying? We gotta talk later. All right, we'll check out with y'all.